Hey guys, Justin here with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're going to be taking a closer look at and installing SR Performance front and rear caliper covers available for your 2016 to 2024 Camaro SS, equipped with 4 piston front calipers. Now you guys should be checking out these options from SR if you'd like to dress up the boring or dirty factory calipers on your ride, while also reducing brake dust on your favorite set of stock or aftermarket wheels at the same time. Now, when talking features here with the caliper covers, I'd say the biggest will be the aesthetic improvement along with the brake dust reduction, all at a relatively affordable price point. Now, when it comes to aesthetics or appearance, this is a no-brainer, right? The SR options are going to cover up your dirty and grimy factory calipers with a bright red option that actually resembles more of an aftermarket caliper, thanks to things like the built-in bleeders, hardware, and some of the brake lines here. Now, those aftermarket big brake kits, listen, that's obviously great stuff, right? They're gonna be no joke from a performance and an appearance standpoint, but at the same time, they are not cheap. Often those big brake kits from Wilwood, Brembo, or Bear are gonna cost you thousands of dollars. And listen, not everybody has that kind of dough to be throwing at a set of aftermarket brake kits. Now, the SR Performance options that we have here today will kind of mimic that same styling, but will do so at a fraction of the cost. Now, pro tip here, if you did want to step these up a bit, you can pair the SR covers up with a set of slotted and drilled rotors, and you're going to achieve that aftermarket big brake kit even more, but with some actual functionality benefits. Now, speaking of functionality, these options from SR, when installed, will be functional in the fact that they're going to help block some brake dust from getting on your stock or aftermarket wheels, reducing the amount of cleaning in the long run. Now, when talking construction, the SR Performance options will utilize some pretty solid materials, including the lightweight 6061 T6 aluminum that has been cast into that caliper-like shape you guys see here today. Now, at the same time, these guys are going to be finished off in that bright red powder coat, keep things looking good, and really pop behind those wheels at the same time. And again, as we mentioned earlier, SR takes these a step further and includes things like the actual faux brake lines, the bleeders, and the hardware here to kind of increase that functional brake caliper look. Now, a couple quick notes here on fitment before we move on. The Camaro owners will have to use an 18-inch wheel or larger to accommodate the covers, and finally need at least 8 millimeters of space between the back of the wheel to the caliper cover for proper clearance. Price point for the SR Performance front and rear options will land right around that mid $200 ballpark, give or take, which, believe it or not, actually makes these one of the more affordable options on the site, coming in roughly 50 to 100 bucks less than the officially licensed options from MGP. So if you're a less is more owner, you don't need the logos all over the place, these are certainly going to be a great option. Lastly, let's talk about the install here, and the site's going to call this a solid 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you a couple of hours or so to complete from start to finish. Now, these covers do include all necessary hardware, and the job itself really isn't that difficult, but because you do have to get all 4 wheels and tires off in order to gain access to the calipers themselves, it might take you a little bit longer overall. But to give you a better idea of how this one might go down in the garage or driveway at home, here's a detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
For this install, you will need a ratchet, an adapter if necessary, a 4mm Allen socket, and an 8mm wrench. Also not shown here is a jack and jack stands. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing some caliper covers on our Camaro, so let's get started. All right, so we've got our car up in the air and we've got the wheels off. Now we can begin installing our caliper cover. We're going to start with our rear caliper. Now, this does have a fixed bracket on the lower side, and we're going to have a bolt-on bracket for the top. And we're going to make sure we have the right one, making sure our bleeders are facing the same direction. We're going to come in, just kind of hook this bottom bracket around our caliper so we can get this to sit. Now, one thing you want to make sure of is that this lower bracket is not hitting your rotor. You'll be able to easily see it under there once you get it hooked in place. And we've got this centered up, so we'll grab our other bracket and begin bolting that down. So now we've got our top bracket. We're going to hook that around our caliper. Get that in position. Snap into place. You may need to push in on your caliper cover to get it to line up. And we've got our provided 4mm Allen bolt and 8mm lock nut. So we get this through our caliper cover side. You may need to maneuver it a bit, again, to get this hole to line up. Once you do, I know this is hard to see, but you'll get that lock nut started. You got it on a couple threads. It'll hold in place and you can adjust this to where you want it to sit. Again, just make sure it's not hitting the rotor itself. Now we'll grab our 4mm Allen socket on our ratchet and an 8mm wrench. Tighten this down. Once you've got that locked into place, make sure it's secure. Now you can repeat this process for the other rear one and we'll move on to the front. So now we can install our front covers. Now this is going to be the same process as the rear, so we're going to hook, bracket around into our caliper. Clips into place. Again, we'll get our bracket. Line up our holes. Get our bolt through. Get our lock nut started. We can bring back our 4mm Allen socket and our 8mm wrench. Once you've got that secure, then you want to make sure it's not hitting your caliper, or your rotor rather. Once you've got this side on, you can do the same thing for the other side. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our SR Performance brake caliper covers in red finish for the front and rear of your 16 to 24 Camaro SS with 4-piston front calipers. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Camaro, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.